Yes, we are now recording. So thank you for being here. I can't tell you how excited I am to have our owner, CEO here with us. I know why.
Give him time. No, okay.
Debbie Stein, say hi to everyone. Hello, everybody. And of course, my fellow managers, we have Ryan and Dwayne. Welcome. And I want to give a special thank you to Eric Wolf of Axia Home Loans for providing breakfast this morning. Would you like to just say hi to everybody? It is, I'm telling you. I'm just so excited. And this is the first of many, this year, you're peeling off the ceiling because there are so many good things happening. And I just can't wait to share them all with you. So I'm not going to take any more time because this is such a powerful presentation, and I just want to say...
I'm presenting?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so without further ado, Mr. Mark Stark.
And I know you can understand this. Truly, it is a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be anywhere, to be honest. No, but I am very excited. Here's what I'd like to do today. I do have a few things that I want to share. I'm going to start off by going through some mindset aspects, making sure that in a very interesting environment like we are in, we think correctly, and we think in a way that helps us move our business and our lives forward. So I'll share a few thought processes of that, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about them later. But I did get a lot of questions from sales executives about my career in real estate and how I got started. So I'm going to share a little bit about my background in getting started in the business. And then I'm going to cover a few areas specifically around listings and really buyers as well that you're dealing with right now. And I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page and you're able to deal in the environment that we're in. So we're going to talk about that. And then last but not least, I wanted to open up for questions. So any questions on what I covered, anything about anything on your mind, company-wide, market, whatever. May not have the answer, but I can find it. Otherwise, I'll answer right here and now. All right, so let's get started. First of all, I am a creature of mindset. I am 1,000% sold that the way you think, right, will affect your life in every way possible. All right. And I'm also a creature of taking full responsibility. People tend to confuse responsibility and blame. Blame is worthless. Responsibility is everything. Because if you don't take responsibility, what you're basically saying is there's no decision, there's no changing, there's no aspects that I need to do. Okay, I'm not responsible. And I cannot tell you how much I disagree with that thought process. You're always responsible, 100% of the time. The silly example that I like to give is you're sitting at a red light, you're not moving, someone hits you from behind. Who's responsible in that situation? You're not even moving. Most people say, well, I wasn't moving, I stopped. Okay, the other person's responsible. And the answer is no. And there's some misunderstandings about responsibility that from a mindset I want to get across. One misnomer is you believe that there's only 100% responsibility in given situations. Not the case. There can be 200, 300, 500% responsibility. In that example, all right, think about it. If I'm sitting at a red light, I'm not moving, I chose to be at that red light at that exact moment in time to have somebody not watching whatever and hit me from behind. Okay, I'm responsible. It's not about blame. I don't lose any power. Is their insurance company going to pay for it? Yes. Okay. It doesn't change anything. What it does is it sends the message that, well, if I'm responsible for that, I'm responsible for everything in my life. So I've got to make sure that I know that every decision I'm making, okay, matters. And how I think about every decision matters. That's what I want you to get out of that aspect. All right. So one of the aspects that we deal in right now, and that is your ability to work on solutions versus dwelling on the problem. All right. I will tell you this. People talk about, Mark, this environment is really challenging. This is crazy. I mean, it is hard. There's no inventory. Okay. I mean, there's just so low inventory. I will push back. That is not correct. That is just not correct. What you're really saying, and again, this clarity makes you think differently. What you're really saying is, Mark, I like to go to that nice little computer box. We call it the MLS. And I like to go in there, type in what my clients need, and I want it to spit out as many properties as I need so I can show them, they can pick one, and I don't have any multiple offers, and I can just present and then sell it. Okay, I get it. But the inventory's still there. It hasn't gone away. What's really, let's be accurate, is, Mark, I can't depend on the MLS system any longer alone to find inventory. I have to have other ways. That's why our listings year over year were up slightly, but our listings solds were here because you're skipping over the listing process and going right to a deal, putting together deals. Our units are up, our closings are up, all right? So that's a beautiful thing. So you have found a different way. For you, you've got to understand the way you think about it. So when you say there's low inventory, it's not accurate. The houses, unless the house has disappeared, okay, you go to a development and it's gone, then I will agree. The inventory is lower now. Not the case, all right? So just want you to have clarity around that. And the more you dwell on the problems, all right, other than focusing on the solution, you just slow yourself down. It's inefficient. And by the way, for this presentation, I really want you to do me a favor. I want you to pull off your agent cap. And I want you to put on your client cap, because we're going to talk about this from a client point of view. Okay, so first of all, if I'm hiring you, I don't want you whining. I don't want you complaining. I can complain without you. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. It's very frustrating. I'm hearing this, I'm hearing that. I can complain all day long. That's why I hired you. I wouldn't want my doctor coming in going, oh God, you are so sick. I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm telling you, I am very worried. Well, what ideas do you have? God, I really don't have any ideas. Okay. I want them as the professional, and they're going to come in and fix me. So you got to make sure that's why they're coming to you. And I want someone coming from strength, figuring out solutions, not dwelling on the problem. That doesn't happen unless you're doing that on a consistent basis. All right. Another aspect of this from a thought process standpoint, and this, people ask me, what do you owe to your success to? This is one of the traits. Where I ultimately got it, I don't know, but it definitely works and has protected me my whole life. And that is what I call the gift of blindness. Having the ability to have the whirlwind and life going around you on a constant basis, looking to throw you off your axis, and you're able to move forward and stay focused and clear on what you're trying to accomplish. For yourself, your business, your clients, you're able to continue moving forward. That gift to be able to push away all this noise, all right, and not hear it and just stay focused. That's somebody that I want representing me, not somebody who's pulled at every scenario that happened. And let me just talk to you about markets. You want a problem market? Oh, this ain't the problem market. Try having 80 listings in inventory, you as an individual, or 50, and 6 of them selling. And you having to call your client every week and go, hey, I just want you to know, I'm gonna advertise it again. I'm gonna do another open house, and I'm on it, okay? And doing that every single week because nothing in the market's selling. That is an issue. This comes with a lot of income, a lot of success. I'll take this market all day long. So we've got to just really put it in some context along those lines. All right, and then the third mindset, and I'm going to give you some examples later today on this, is the ability to truly stay client-centric. Now this is, and I say this with love, this is where sales executives lie to themselves. If I ask people, are you client-centric? I mean, are you really want to service your client effectively? These are the kinds of comments that I get. First of all, it's absolutely yes. I'm all about the client. And here's what their response is. Mark, I'm honest. I'm hardworking. I truly care. I communicate. I'm smart. I know the market. You know what? I am all about the client. Okay, so first of all, let's get some things straight. Now remember, we have our client caps on. What I just named there, I put in a category called the mandatories. You are not doing me a favor because you're smart, you know the market, you care, you're honest, you communicate to me about my own house. Appreciate your support, okay? You know, I'm glad I know you're honest and hardworking and care because I was looking for a lazy agent who was going to rip my head off. When you meet with me, I have a level of expectation already in my mind, or I wouldn't meet with you. So think about it. Would you meet with somebody that you felt you were going to do business with and you already felt they were dishonest and lazy? Would you even take the meeting? No. So when you sell the mandatories, you're not doing yourself justice. The mandatories are mandatory. Absolutely, you got to do all those things. What we're going to talk about in a little bit, what I really mean and what I see is truly client-centric. And when I go over the example, you'll see how it'll do away with ever losing a listing to some other agent or company trying to overprice listings over you, easy, or discount commissions, easy, if you get this market. Now, I'll be honest, when I go over this example, many times sales executives truly don't understand this environment. And we're going to go through that in a second. Before I do that, let me share with you a little bit about my background. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. I moved to Las Vegas to go to UNLV for hotel management. That's what brought me to Vegas and getting out of the snow. Okay. And got my license at 21 years of age. I was fortunate enough to get a job working at the hotels while I was going through school. I had to work my way through school and learn very quickly hotel business was not something I was passionate about and did not want to do. But I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And my roommate in college said, why don't we get a real estate license? We love Las Vegas. I said, cool, we'll go for beers after that. And then we're in. Okay. And so I did at 21 years of age. I went to what they call career nights. I joined this company. I've been with the same company now. I just had my 35-year anniversary. And again, it goes back to that gift of blindness. You hear all the noise, all the shiny things, okay, but you stay focused on what you're trying to create. And I was fortunate to have a great mentor when I started as a brand new agent. His name was George Head, and George was my manager at the time. And coming from living on campus and hanging out with just college buddies, the challenge is I didn't have a quality sphere of influence. I mean, good people, but you know, they couldn't afford beer besides for the home, and they weren't in the buying process, so they weren't really going to generate me a lot of business. So George said, you've got to go create a new sphere. I said, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Okay. He says, great. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go on 2 new appointments per day, 5 days a week. I don't care where you get them. We're going to pick out categories, and I'll tell you the ones I picked. Pick out categories that you want to work, that is most comfortable with your personality and what you want to do. But Mark, I don't want you to gauge your day by hours. I want you to gauge it by appointments. So if I ask you, did you have a productive day? The only way to answer that yes is you went on 2 new appointments, 2 new opportunities. That's not with the same seller or same buyer you've already met with. It's a new buyer or seller, 2 a day. Now, honestly, I would not, that was pretty horrendous, but I was 21 with no responsibility. But I would say 1 a day in this business is a must. If you come in and work 14 hours in a day without a new opportunity, wow, I can't even imagine. I'd much rather have you laying on the beach doing nothing, relaxing, than coming in for 14 hours with no new opportunities. Now, don't worry if you're sitting there going, well, Mark, I had 26 in escrow and I was dealing with it and stuff like this. Great. If that's your issue, I don't think you have a problem, okay? If that's not your issue, let's be honest, okay, and come from the truth here. And the reality of it is without creating new opportunities each day, they weren't productive. I got it. I was clear. And that's how I started my business. Well, I started taking lots of listings very, very quickly. Certainly wasn't in a market like this. Well, first of all, the average sales price was $50,000 to $75,000. Should have bought every one of those. And then And so, you know, you had to do a lot of units, but I was taking a lot of listings. All right. It was a beautiful thing. And I would have, now there was a joke that went around the office about me. And one of the things is what relaxed me, what was really comfortable for me was going to the movies. It got to a point where it really didn't matter what was playing, but if I could sit in a, you know, dark, cool movie theater, have my popcorn, watching a movie, could have been the same movie 20 times, really didn't matter. For whatever reason, it just relaxed me. Okay. Didn't have cell phones at the time, so you're just undisturbed and you can do this. Well, I would have agents walk up to me and say, you know, can I ask you something? You know, you're doing this business. You're doing a lot of business, and all you do is go to the movies. I go, you know, what is up? And I said, the one different aspect is that has protected me from the start as a brand new agent, okay, is I don't gauge my day by hours. I gauge them by appointment. So as long as I'm going on, my day did not end. Sometimes it happened really quick and I could do whatever I wanted, okay? And some days, all right, took longer. But if I did my 2, I knew that was a productive day. Does that mean I got them every single time? No, it's not the point. But I knew what my focus was each and every day. That's why you'll notice that the training we do is down to the day. I do not believe in annual business plans. I believe in annual business budgets and annual business targets, but not annual business plans. They don't work. People spend all this time, you put your annual plan together. Where does it go? In the drawer. You know when it comes back out? Next year when you got to update it. Okay. If something isn't a living, breathing document that you use every single day, it's worthless. That's why you hear a DRC, daily revenue commitment. You don't have to worry about, you know, today is what? Tuesday? Okay, just checking. Okay, today's Tuesday. You don't have to worry about Monday. You don't have to worry about Wednesday. All you have to get your head around is Tuesday. And what if I go on vacation for 2 weeks, Mark, and I come back? Does all that add together? Nope. You never add things together. You never double it up. You never this. When you come in there, it's like a lost hotel room. What did you do for the last 2 weeks? Laid on the beach, did nothing. Are you going to make up for that? No, not a chance. Okay, I'm going to come in now. It's a new Monday, and I know exactly what I'm going to accomplish on Monday. That was extremely powerful. One other thing I will share with you is I did pretty much everything else terribly. Terribly. My marketing, the first time I sent out marketing material as a brand new agent is they were all piled under my desk, and I sent them out a year later. Okay, because I finally got to a point where I couldn't fit my feet. Okay. And I only had one client say to me, hey, Mark, on this mailer, it's got last year's year on there. I'm like, oh, God, damn printer. Okay. Because I just didn't want to throw them out. I'd already paid for them and everything else. Okay. So the reality of that is, all right, I would do a lot of things differently. All right. And I try and share all this on Facebook Live. On that. And by the way, I got some great comments on Facebook Live to shorten it up. So I'm keeping it 15 minutes or less. So I appreciate that because I know everyone's busy on that. So I share a lot of those other aspects. But as an agent, I did one thing extremely well. I knew exactly what I had to accomplish that day, period. Okay. All right. So let me now move on. I want to give you, okay. Oh, by the way, people always ask me, okay, well, how did you get to ownership? Real clear, I sold for approximately 7 years. Mark Masevic, who was another mentor of mine, was the original founder, one of the founders and president of the company, asked me if I wanted to train while I was selling full time. I said yes. I pretty much do whatever Mark asked me to do. And so I trained, did that for 7-8 months. And then he said, we have an office. They were letting a manager go. And they said, we have an office opening up. Would you like to move out of sales? I can't have you sell anymore, but will you manage the office and we'll let you grow it as big as you want? Long story short, we sat down, we did that, loved it. I managed for almost about 5.5, 6 years. And Mark Masevic, I don't know if you guys ever read about this, but he's the gentleman who got hurt. How many of you watched Honeymoon in Vegas? The movie Honeymoon in Vegas. Well, Mark Masevic was the skydive jump master for that movie. In fact, he's in one of the scenes with the whole flying Elvi in the plane. Okay. Well, he had a skydiving accident. Someone parked a car in the jump zone when he was coming down, tried to flare, couldn't do it, and hit the car at 40 miles an hour, face first. So literally, when I went to the hospital to see him, I was thrown back because, I mean, he was this close to death. So at that time, long story short, we needed a general manager with Mark's accident, went to the remaining partners, got general manager. A few years later, one of the partners wanted to be bought out. That's when I went to ownership. And then in 2004, bought the rest of the company. And people ask me, did you have a plan for all that? None of it. None of it. But here's what I did learn, okay? And this is a lesson that I really push to my teenage girls. I have 2 teenage girls, and is this. When you do the right things on a consistent basis for the right reasons, just do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. When opportunities open up, okay, you tend to be able to just to see them. You're working. I didn't have a plan for any of that, but when the opportunity arose and I was doing the right things for the right reasons, I realized, you know what, I can do that. I can do that next opportunity, and that's what led me down, down the line. And it's really supported me my whole career. And then I've been blessed with numerous mentors that continue to teach me and continue to help me drive forward. Because one thing I always say, you don't want the Mark Stark of 2015 running the company today. And you won't want the Mark Stark of 2021 running it in 25. So everyone is pushed to get better and better and better. It's not a choice. Either you will get better or you will be left behind. And so we're all in wherever we're at, in a scenario that we need to continue to grow. And you're only growing or you're moving backwards. I know we'd love to go, I just want to get here and stay there forever. I understand. Trust me, it just doesn't work like that. You're either doing this or you're doing this. All right. So now let's take this back to this market and what we're dealing with. And I say this next comment respectfully. Most all, in what I see, most all agents do not understand this market. They don't understand how to operate effectively in a market like this. And understandably, I mean, it's a different market. It has a lot of challenges. So I want to give you specifically on the seller side. And in that same vein, once you understand this, it will do away, like I said, with overpricing issues from other companies or agents, as well as someone trying to discount. I know right there, when an agent comes to me and say, Mark, what do you do? I mean, they're offering 4% to list their house. I mean, how do you compete with that? Right there, I know you don't know this market and you're not presenting it effectively. You can't have that problem and affect it or present it properly. All right, with understanding that. Let me give you another example. Mark, I went on this listing and the comps came in at 700 and at a high, really high, you could push it to 800. I was fine doing that. Someone said they can get $1 million. So they were going to price the property $1 million. That's ridiculous. There's just no way. Okay. Both agents don't understand this market. Both agents don't understand the market. All right. So you can't lose a listing because of that, number one, and you can't be pushed out for commission. So what does this market demand of you? Okay. First of all, you have to be client-centric. And what I'm going to go over right now is all about what I mean about client-centric, not just the mandatories. Those have to be there. But let's talk about how you really market it. And I want you to put on your seller's cap, okay, because I'm going to present to you, and I potentially am your agent. And you just told me you had an agent, okay, and let's double it up. The agent is willing to do it for 4 and says they can get you $1 million, okay? So we'll double it up. Here's what I would say to that seller. I'd say, first of all, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, I have to tell you, thank you so much for sharing that, because that insight alone, I'm able to help you on. First of all, any agent who comes in here and gives you a price in this market does not understand this market. Let me be clear. This market is about process, not about price. It is about process, not about price. anyone who gives you a price that your property will sell for is going to potentially leave not only thousands or tens of thousands, but I've seen it where they've left hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. So anytime any agent gives you a price, they don't get it. So first of all, that agent said $1 million. I'm going to tell you right now, it could be $1.1 million, $1.2 million, whatever the price can be. What they won't get to is that highest price because they don't understand how the process works. So let me explain to you. First of all, in a market like this, we don't pick a selling price. Your price is a strategic price in this market. In no way, shape, or form do I think it's going to sell at that price. So comps are coming in from 7 to that high 8s. We may pick 695 as our price. See, because my job is twofold. One is to maximize the amount of offers that we get. And by the way, simple math, 20 offers is better than 10. 30 offers is better than 20. 40 offers is better than 30. So the ones who do not know how to maximize your offers potentially are leaving thousands and thousands of dollars on the table. That's one job. Maximize the amount of offers in this market, and you do that by strategically picking a price. Now, they have a second job, which agents don't know on this, is not only do we have to maximize the amount of offers, okay, we have to pick the offer that can actually execute on what they're promising. So if someone comes in and offers you $1 billion for your house, it doesn't mean they can write the check for the $1 billion and close. So the job is twofold. And most agents in this market do not understand how to maximize your equity because that's our job. My job is to understand what you're trying to accomplish, and my job is to maximize your equity based on your goals. And you don't get there by picking a high price. I'm going to leave offers off the table. If I market your property at $1 million thinking I'll get $1 million, not only am I increasing the chances dramatically that I will never make it to the $1 million, I'm leaving out so many more offers that aren't even going to see my property or think they're priced out and not be able to be in the bidding process and that excitement to get them to that point. All right. So stop there. Do you see the difference in that presentation, okay, versus presenting and getting you can't get frustrated about someone coming in for another price. It tells you right there they don't know what they're doing. You can't talk about price. It's about process. How are you orchestrating them to maximize their equity? Not the price you're going to pick. We will get back to a point where comparables in the market matter. We're not there now. We're not there. But Mark, that's what I'm used to. I get it. That goes with that growth thing. Okay. You weren't used to short sales a long time ago too. You had to learn those. All right. So this is just another aspect of this business that we have to internalize to be able to truly represent the client properly. All right. Questions on that? Give me some comments or questions on it. Yes.
All right. So as a newer realtor, my family just listed my grandparents' house in Los Angeles.
Got it.
And because I'm such a new realtor and not necessarily from that market, I wasn't brought in on the sale. The realtor originally wanted to list it at $2.1 million.
Mm-hmm.
He is all about the pumps, for which I have attempted to point out that you all are your agent. There are none, because this is a neighborhood in Los Angeles that's almost 100 years old, and houses have changed so much. Essentially, he threw out prices at them and has been throwing out prices at them, and they've had to reprice over and over again. And I know this sounds crazy, but I said like way earlier, I feel like he's losing them hundreds of thousands of dollars because exactly what you said. He was so adamant. He gave them a price. He set everything, and there was really nowhere for them to go from there. But
sure, right, sure.
I guess it sounds really terrible to say, but it's one of those, you're lucky if you don't work with families sometimes. I'm not the one disappointing them. There's somebody else, and I get to point the finger and go, oh,
right.
He's completely blowing it. See how smart I am at 7 months in? But it's scary because I'm seeing this unfold, and I know that as a newer agent, if I'm seeing it, you guys are probably all seeing it too. It's strange that you hit a very hot button for me because I'm
sure, and he has lost them.
Watching this guy losing my family money.
Yeah, without a doubt, absolutely has lost them money. Okay. And I promise you this, if your family would have had this presentation while that person presents, the possibility of getting that listing for them, because the person who would do it might price that at, we're going to go at 1.6. What? There's no way it'll go that low. Oh, I know it will never go that low. I even tell some agents are going, well, what if an offer comes in and they fight me and say it's, I'm bringing in an at-list offer. I go, first of all, there's no such thing as an at-list offer. Okay. But if you want to put in there, put in the agent to agent remarks, say, my seller has the right to choose price, terms, closing terms for any reason that they choose. Just put something in there to make yourself feel comfortable. They're still not going to be an at-list offer. But the understanding the process of how to maximize that, you price that properly, effectively, and there's other things, and I'll get into that in a second. You price that properly, effectively, and that does not mean at sales price. That means effectively that 2.1 can go to 2.5. Okay, why? Because everyone gets excited. You attract different people. Every realtor's going 1 for 1.6. We got to get on this right now. That's right, you do. Absolutely. Come on down. Okay, write an offer. I'm looking. I get some agents who get frustrated. Mark, this is really frustrating. I go, what? And they go, well, this agent, I was the first one in. Okay, I wrote the offer. We were there. Okay, and I said, hey, when? He goes, well, we're not presenting this next Friday. Wait a minute. Mark, it's just not right. I go, right for who? I go, they're representing their seller. Well, they're not representing you. I go, don't lose this. You better start getting it, because this is not about how do I become fair to realtors. Okay, the fiduciary relationship isn't with you. It is with the client if they're working right. There's a question back here. Think you had a question behind you? Got it. Absolutely. The way you've got to you keep bringing them back. And here's the one thing. If you want to bring people closer to you, you have to ask questions. Questions draw people in. Statements push people away. So after you do that, I would say this. If they kept pushing, I would go, can I just want to know. And listen, I'm just being curious here. Why would you let yourself potentially leave thousands, tens of thousands, a couple 100,000 on the table? I just want to understand. I mean, some people, it's not the money. No, for us, it is the money. I go, okay, then let's go back to this, because I really want to understand, because I think we're missing something here. We're not, because I would never sell it for 1.6, like you're saying. Okay, I apologize. That was not the message. So let me re-go over, because you will never sell it for that. What we're trying to do is create bidding wars. So to your point, sometimes you got to regroup, you got to restate, you got to redo it again, but ask those questions to pull them in. As soon as they don't do something that I believe is not in their best interest, and again, it starts with listening, because you got to listen to what their goals are, all right? It's the same reason why iBuyers throughout the country still get deals. And you say, why would anyone sell to an iBuyer in this environment? But they do. They do. Why? Because they have their goals. Okay, they're not your goals. But once I feel that, I make sure that I ask the questions to bring the conversation back to what's in their best interest. And if I learn something through the process that they have a different goal that I wasn't considering, okay, well then I need to understand that. All right, so pricing. This, yes.
If you're guilty of doing such, said to a listing, we're backtrack.
You've already done the presentation?
I've already listed the property.
Yeah.
But not going in there.
Yes.
I acquiesced to what the seller wanted.
Got it.
I thought I was on the same page.
Got it.
I didn't articulate.
Okay, so what I would do is I would go back to them and go, look, you know what? I've been doing a lot of homework and a lot of investigation, okay, on the market again here. And I said, I'm sorry to keep belaboring this point, but this is important to me. I don't take this lightly. I even went to the owner of the company, okay, and my manager, and I sat down and I said, look, I'm trying to maximize. See, one time, be careful, because you've got to push that point. The only reason you're doing this is to maximize their equity. Sometimes when we go to comps, we're focusing on the comps to get it priced properly. It's only to maximize their equity. Here's my concern. And Mr. Johnson, I need to know how you feel about this. My concern, and the owner of the company who operates in 4 markets in 3 states with 3,500 sales executives feels the same way. We're concerned that you potentially are going to leave thousands, tens of thousands, maybe a couple 100,000 or more on the table if we don't do this process right. In fact, if you don't want to do this, it's your house. You're the boss, okay? But I need you to sign this, that I went over this with you, because it could cost you huge, huge dollars. Well, there's no way I'd sell it for that price. I don't want you to. You will never accept an offer at that price. In fact, let me show you what I'm going to put in the agent to agent remarks. Seller can choose any price, any terms for any reason they want at any time. Okay, put it right in there and let them read it. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. It's not too late. No, because you're still on the job. You're doing your homework. You do more investigation, and you want to get us back on track in their best interest. Oh, perfect. Got it. Got it. Yeah. 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 So I would be. Yeah. If you price the property at where you think it will sell, I wouldn't say this outside this room, but you cost the seller money. You cost the seller money. Yes. Yep, you got help. Love it. Right. It's why I called my sellers every week, even if there was no news. Okay. One other tip on that, on any of this, any issue that you have that comes up with your seller, know this. Okay. First of all, you never backstep, meaning this is not a backstep. This is a step forward. Okay. We've got to make sure you maximize your equity. You never backstep. And my sellers were never more upset than me. Hey, how many showings did we have this week? None. Okay. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, that's unacceptable. Unacceptable, no showings. Hey, listen, I've got an offer to present in the area on Thursday. Will you and Bonnie be home? Great. I'll see you guys then. I should be there between 6 and 7. No way are they more upset about no showings than I am. It's never going to be, oh, okay. Well, hopefully next week will be better. No way. No way. No way. Always come from strength with that. And getting help and getting support is exactly your job. You're not supposed to have to know everything. You're not alone. And if you see yourself as alone, that's that personal thought process that is basically taking you out by the knees. That's a mistake. Yes.
In a situation like that, agents call the buyers to actually reduce the price point. What kind of communication would you convey to still be in a position of strength?
You know what? I would say, you know what? We've gotten so much activity on the property at this moment in time, and I would just tell them and say it's strategic. I would just tell them it's strategic. If someone took the time to call me, it's strategic. Okay. As you know, you're a smart guy, Bill. It's not going to sell. It's not going to sell for that amount. I already know that. All right. We just want to make sure we get all the offers in, because I'm going to do the best job for my sellers I can. Okay. So now it's strategic. There's no issue with the property. Now there's a second part to this. So now there's pricing. Okay? The second part that gets missed. Guys, we are people first. And you've got to start internalizing how people think. Okay. Why is it? You know, I hear realtors say, well, you know, you walk into a new home, keep in mind, you're paying big dollars for that. I know it looks all pretty, but you're paying big dollars for that. But people like new homes. They like everything clean. You know what? How many people are in here? Nobody yet. Love that. Okay? They like it. Here's what you've got to do. Don't fight it. Understand it. How do you use it in the best interest of your client? So first of all, let me give you a live example recently. Okay, and we shared this on the manager's call. So one of the agents, they were listing a property, and this is before I spoke to this agent about what I just went over with you, and they were going to list it at 700 grand. Okay, at 700,000. However, they got with Apex. Doesn't have to be Apex, could be anybody, but on this one, they got with Apex not to do the forward program, just to renovate it and stage it. So they renovated the property and they staged the property. After the renovation and staging was done, the agent said, oh my God, there's no way this should sell for 700. I know I can get more. Again, a mistake, the way that they did it, because we had not talked yet, and they changed the property to 900. Okay, that property ultimately sold for $1,050,000. From the original okay by the seller, the sign off that 700 sounds good, they put $290,000 more in their pocket after Apex fees. So they're offering 4%. What are we talking here? You're going to lose a listing over 1 or 2%? 14 grand? They could be leaving $290,000 on the table. There's no way commission can be a problem. Not a chance if you're presenting it properly. And know this, when you talk commissions, stop talking percentages. When's the last time you went to the bank and said, I'd like to put in 4%? People don't put in percentages, they put in money. If someone on a $700,000 property, someone's willing to do it for 5 and you're willing to do it for 6, your issue is 7 grand. They're willing to do it for 4, you're wanted 6, your issue is 14 grand, period. Math is math. 2% of 700 grand is 14,000. And this person has no idea about this process. You know what, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson? I don't even need to know who this agent is because it doesn't matter, but they don't even know the process for their own commission versus the process for you. And then I will give them live examples of what we need to do. Now, some properties don't need to be renovated, all right? And some do. If I feel they could maximize my seller's equity, we're going over it. And I might have them sign it and say, you choose not to. Now, remember, I don't have that kind of money. I'm not putting that money out. Okay, we have a company called Apex. Okay, they're a third party that works with us. They bill everything to escrow. Now, you got to be honest. What happens if the market changes in between construction and the price drops? Well, they own that too. Okay, they own that too. So you know what? It is what it is. It doesn't guarantee me anything, but it certainly takes into account what's going on in the marketplace and what's happening. It says, what aspects can I do to ensure I maximize the equity for my clients? You know, guys, to go in and list it and then, you know, accept that offer, you know, just you accept an offer. And let's say, I hear people talk, yeah, we got 50,000 over escrow. First thing that comes to my mind, how much money did you leave on the table? How much money did you leave on the table for that client? Were they blessed to work with you, or were they screwed to work with you? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. But I know this much. Okay, if the process is done right, you can maximize their equity. You don't lose anything. You just attract more interest in that property. Okay. Questions on that? Okay, clear as mud? Yes.
But I have talked to a couple sellers, and the first thing that they're talking about is commission. They don't care what you list their house at. They just say, I've talked to other agents, they'll do it for 5.
Yeah. Okay.
If you won't do it for 5, you're out. And, you know, goodbye.
Great. Okay. So let's talk about that. Are you face to face with them?
No, I'm on the phone.
Okay. So first of all, on the phone. Okay. So let's talk about this. And I go over this with the managers too. If I told you to go paint your car, okay, I wanted you to paint your car, and I handed you your car keys, and I said, go paint your car with this tool. And I gave you some paint and your car key. And you went out there and you started painting your car with your car key. What would happen? Okay, all right. So is it the right tool to paint your car? No. Okay. The phone has one job. One job. Get face to face. But nope. Nope. But nope. One job. If you go on 100 listing appointments face to face and you don't get a listing, the phone worked perfectly. The issue's not the phone. I'm not saying there aren't issues. It ain't the phone. The phone is stellar. When we use the wrong tool for the wrong reason, we get scratched. So one, you do not, we're only offering $1. Great, I'll see you at 4. I'm not negotiating commission over the phone. That's not what it's used for. Why would I paint my car with my car key? You don't do that. You never talk commissions over the phone. Whatever they say, that's good. Great, absolutely, no problem. Understood. 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 That's it. Great line. Understood. I'm only offering you $100. Understood. And then you go out there and the presentation changes. Okay. If you talk commissions, okay, on the phone, you're blowing it. Never, never, never. Guys, when someone is face to face with, here's another example of that. Here, I'll prove this to you. You go to one of your sellers who's stuck on price. Let's say we're not in this exact market, but you go and go, hey, listen, let me ask you a question. If I brought you an offer for $450,000, would you consider it? Are you crazy? You know what, Mark, you just don't get it, do you? No, I would never even consider it. Very different presentation than, yeah, Mark, what's up? Hey, I got these buyers in the car. They want to close tomorrow. Here's $450,000 in cash. What do you want to do? Very different presentation than, hey, if I were to get somebody who would pay lower than you want, would you be excited? No. Okay, good. Guys, face to face is not over the phone. Give yourself, every presentation has its time. You don't present over the phone. It's not what works, okay? It's there to get face to face. So you get face to face and then you go through. And commission's not even going to come up. You're not even talking commissions. You've already said, I understand. And then you tell them, they go, what about the commission? Now we're only doing it for 5. One, you've gone over all this stuff, so you've laid some really great groundwork. And then you tell them the truth. Oh, commission's not up to me. Commission's up to my broker, but I don't have a problem calling them. Yeah, because like I told you on the phone, I ain't listing unless you could do it for 5. No, let me tell you something. I know this market. I do a ton of business, okay? I will call my broker on your behalf and I will fight for you, okay? But everything that I went over about process and price and rent, no, it makes all the sense in the world. Truthfully, and let me tell you something, I will get on my broker, no problem, but I just have to tell you, the difference is, and I know that 1%, 700,000, it's $7,000. And I'm not here to say $7,000 is not a lot of money, but in this market, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, if the process is done wrong, I've seen it cost people $250,000. So I'm willing, I hear you loud and clear. I will call my broker. I have a lot of pull. Let me see what I can get done. But just between you and the wall, I'm not bringing it up to the broker, but you got a lot more money here than $7,000 to worry about. Okay, I've got your back. So no problem. And then let me call the broker. And then you call your broker and you go, you know what? Hey, I'm interested in really doing this. You know what? Can we go 5.5? Can we go 5? Now, I know you're sitting here right now, and this is again understanding. Well, Mark, we don't have to get that approved. Okay. If you don't get it approved, you're blowing it. You're blowing it. If you don't talk about it getting approved, you're blowing it. I'm less worried about you getting it approved. I'm more excited for you to present that you have to get it approved. Why would you ever want a seller to go, hey, Mark, if I need to get into your pocket and take some money from you, who do I need to talk to? Only me. I am the grand poobah. I make all decisions. So if you ever need to get in my pocket and get money, I can approve anything you need. Well, I want 10,000. No. Okay. I don't like you. I don't like you anymore. I didn't know that. Okay. Okay. Why would I ever put, I am good cop. I'm always good cop. Now you will deal with clients that you go, hey, listen, I will get with my broker, no problem. Because you know, we've worked together before. Absolutely. You know what, Mark, don't worry about it. Let me call my broker. We will get on this right away. You know what? You and I have been like this forever. No problem. Okay. Okay, great. Gina, we're not discounting. This guy's a pain in the butt. He's always been a pain in the butt. He works me to death. I would rather lose the listing than discount him a penny. All right. The answer is no. Thank you. Hey, fought my best. Broker says no. But here's what we'll do. Here's what I did demand, that we do all the marketing and all this, da, 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 da. Guys, it's up to you. If you have flexibility there, we're certainly going to work with you. The sad part of it is part of your job is to work with us so we can protect your commission too. You work hard. And you know what? The easy ones are easy. Then the tough ones are tough. Okay. And it's an aspect of that. Commissions are negotiable. Does someone hear a voice? I hope so. Because if it's just me, there may be another issue. Okay. The reality of it is commissions are negotiable. We're going to talk about it, but we don't discount commissions. We just don't. Does that mean we never will? No, we will, but we don't discount commissions. And so our job is to work together. There are companies that do nothing. Think about this. That company who's charging 4%, they're the ones screwing the seller. They're the ones really taking advantage of the seller. They don't know what they're doing, and nor do they care. And the seller's in on it because the seller's saying, I want to hire someone who doesn't know what they're doing that will charge me less and cost me thousands. And that's the facts of what's happening. And we don't want that to happen to our clients. We just need to present it effectively so they get it. Is that helpful?
Yes.
You got it. Other questions? Yes.
You obviously tailor these pitches specifically to each client. Is there, do you do this like off of your own sales pitch? Do you use other people's? How is it best?
Okay, the answer to that is yes and no. I tailor, here's something I learned early on as an agent. There are two goals that are always there for a motivated seller. Always. Okay. You're never supposed to say always and never. There's two goals that are always there for a motivated seller, not an unmotivated seller. Okay. You don't want to be careful dealing with an unmotivated seller, because then you bring them the best offer ever and they say no. Why? Because they were trying to tell you I'm unmotivated and I want more and more and more. So a motivated seller. Here are the two goals. Sell my house and maximize my check. Sell my house and maximize my check. So I know there may be other goals. You know what? I got to be in Texas by June 20th. I have to be gone. Hey, Mark, here's my other concern. I don't want to move out. I don't want to move twice. So there's other aspects that can be in there, but I always know for a motivated seller, those two are there. So the way I've presented always covers those two. And then in questioning and listening to them of what's really important to them, I can work with to backfill the other necessary goals. But I'm always going to present pretty much the same way. And here's the other mistake agents make. You know, from Apex to AdWorks to the branding, all right, to buy side, to all of our, to listing promo, everything we bring on has a trait to it. One, it's consumer centric. I don't spend money on something that's not consumer centric. Why? Because, guys, if the best thing a broker, in my opinion, can do for their sales executives is please buyers and sellers. If buyers and sellers are happy and you can present something that buyers and sellers like, that's great news for you. Okay. If you like it and buyers and sellers don't care about it, as much as you may think it's good for you, all right, I'm not talking about something internal to your business, but I'm talking about that's good for you, it may not be so good. All right, because it's buyers and sellers. That's why people ask me, what about all these disruptors in the market? I don't worry about any disruptors that aren't client-centric. These disruptors that are all about, and I mean this respectfully, about the agent, until we all start buying and selling houses to each other, we're going to have to keep worrying about buyers and sellers. You want to worry about some disruptors? Worry about Zillow. Worry about Redfin. These are companies that are there long-term, have plenty of money, and are absolutely client-centric. These come and go companies that are all about the agent. In a great market, they do great. In a bad market, they plummet. Okay, I'm telling you, client-centric is what it's all about. And if we're going to win the battle, and by the way, being a consumer, here's the other thing, I get to be insatiable. When do I stop wanting? Never. I'm a client. Well, you know, if you give up A and B, we'll give you C, D, and E. How's this? How about I keep A and B and you give me C, D, and E? Well, I'm the consumer. I want it all. That's the job. Who can provide the consumer the most and be successful and stay profitable through the process to be able to do it? And it's not easier. It's getting harder and harder. But guess what? The aggressive company, look what happened last year in 2020. The companies that grew the fastest were the big brands. You hear all this stuff about all these little and success and this and that. The big brands are the ones that move forward. You guys grew for our company. This is 4 markets, 3 states. You grew your commissions year over year in a pandemic, $35.2 million. No acquisitions. Your internal income grew $35.2 million. You grew by $1.57 billion in volume year over year. Let me tell you how big that number is, just so you have some context around it. And I know, well, didn't a lot of companies do good? Yeah, a lot didn't, and a lot did. They didn't do this good. They didn't even come close to this. Some of these companies had a 3 to 5 to 7% increase year over year. Nothing compared to what you accomplished. Here's this. There are 106,500 plus brokerages in the United States. 106 through the NAR. 106 to all of them. That includes every brand, every independent, everything. 106,000, I think it's 548 last time I checked, okay? Out of 106,548, this company, our company, your company is 19. We're number 19 in volume in the United States of America. I don't say that to pat myself on the back. I want you to know in a pandemic, you went from 24 to 19. The only way you move up like that, and already doing an amazing, that's, you know, it gets harder as you get bigger. Doesn't get easier, you know, it's easy like, well, you know, we tripled our sales. How many sales did you have last year? 1. And you went to 3? Okay. You know, it's a lot easier at that level. Okay. When you're doing the amount of business that you're doing, and by the way, your first 4 months of the year, you've destroyed last year. Destroyed. You are up 27 million in GCI in the first 4 months of the year, not counting May. That's your income, the agents throughout the organization. It's freaking unbelievable. It's truly mind-boggling. Even Berkshire, Gino Blafari called me up. This is at the end of last year. He goes, "What do you guys do?" I said, "I know, it's amazing, huh?" And he just goes, "Mark, your numbers are just killer." And I said, "I know, it's crazy." You know what? And listen, some is market, some is price, some, I'm gonna tell you, the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services brand, our average sales price continues to rise. We're very fortunate. There's 750,000 shareholders of Berkshire Hathaway stock. Now the stock's at $430,000 for one share. One share, 430 grand. Anyone who owns that stock is pretty happy, okay, and very wealthy. All right. So, I mean, it's a core of very wealthy owners, okay, and the brand carries a lot of presence. All right. And so that has been a plus to us. So I just want you to take this and really internalize this, and then how you take that and present that matters. And so back to my point of buy side and all the tools, what should, if you understand what I went over today, And I'm not trying to trap anyone, but okay, so, raise your hand if you have the answer. And they're like, I ain't raising my hand. Okay. If you get what I went over, what does buy side, AdWorks, Berkshire Hathaway brand, every tool we have, Apex, if you get it, why would be the only reason you would ever use it? Client-centric, meaning it's all about them, absolutely, and give me some specifics around that. It what? It maximizes their equity, it sells their house, it is. That's why every tool, so every tool you present is something in the benefit of the seller, not general. Well, we advertise here. If I was a seller, I'd go, why? Why? I don't care if you advertise there. What is that going to do? All right. We tend to get in a present mode instead of really connect. Like the only things that matters is what's moving the seller's life, business, equity forward. All right. So everything I do, everything. It's a simple rule. Everything. If you presented them, I hand everyone a pizza. Why do you hand everyone a pizza? It increases the amount of offers that we get on the property. I know it's crazy, but it works. Okay. As long as it is effective in bringing them more business, I guess the pizza plan can work. If it doesn't do that, don't present it. Cut that down. Question.
I didn't have a question. Your example, I had a closing last week, that was your example. The comps were like 720 to reaching 800,000. And the client wanted 750, and I said, let's do a bidding war, and we listed at 695. And had 60 showings where I was at the house, and got 22 offers, and 3/4 of them waived the appraisal. We closed in 30 days.
Okay, now who was the buyer? What did the buyer pay?
775, but that wasn't the highest offer. The highest offer was 785, but 785 offer didn't waive the appraisal.
Okay.
775 won.
Beautiful. So the 775 one that waived it. So that was the highest offer that waived the appraisal. What was your next highest offer that waived the appraisal?
765.
Okay, 765. So right there, if we would have lost one buyer, forget about the others, one buyer, that's $10,000 out of the seller's pocket. So now, if we lose one buyer, that was 1.3%. Math is math. 10,000 of 700 grand. Okay, so guys, that you need to understand, when you really break it down to money, one loss of one offer would have cost them, okay, 1.3%.
So differently, that $10,000 loses out of 5 versus the 6% commission is $1,000.
Right, right.
So it's $1,000 out of my pocket. Do I care? Well, it's $10,000 out of yours, which is more.
Right. Yeah. No, exactly. And remember, okay, one other thing on the 6%, okay, and we have people who take 7s, but just let's say, first of all, raise your hand if you have an agreement with the other brokers in the market that when they sell one of your listings, you do not have to pay their side of the commission. Nobody? Then stop charging 6%. You don't charge 6%. You charge 3%. And you recommend to the seller that they offer 3 to the selling broker. That helps you two on the phone. You know what? Hey, I'm only going to charge, we're only paying 4. Well, we charge 3. Oh, come on over. All right. So the reality of it is, don't own the other broker's commission. That's the selling side. Break it out. It's little things of presenting that matter with that. Because the truth of it is, you don't have that agreement. You do have to pay it. Why are you taking ABC Brokers commission on your back? Yes. Oh.
Real quick, we're going to pass the mic around and nobody can hear the questions, and we want to make sure.
Okay, got it.
Okay, the other comment that I had is if somebody says, well, I'm offering, other people have offered 4 or 5%. I say, really? Well, that's interesting, because how well are they going to negotiate on your behalf? If they are caving on the commission, how well are they going to represent you in the sale?
Yeah, it's absolute. It's so, but guys, you know what? I know that sounds like, okay, that's a good comeback, but the reality of it is it's true. They can't even negotiate on their own behalf, but they're going to negotiate on your behalf to make you tens and maybe a couple 100,000 more. They don't even know how to do it for themselves, but don't worry, they'll be great for you. Yeah, I know. It just doesn't make any sense. It's absolutely the case. Other questions? Other comments? Was today helpful? Okay, real helpful? Okay, good. Oh no, I love it. Hey, let me close by saying this. Look, we're going to be in this type of environment for a while. We are in a clear supply and demand issue. This is not like 2007, 2008. You know, I mean, I remember in Vegas at that time where we would have 100 people in line to buy a new home and 5 of them had planned to move in. Okay, the other 295, you know, you buy it, you flip it, make 100 grand. I mean, that was the thing. That's not the issue now. It is people relocating to our markets and they need properties. You've got real buyers looking, okay, for property. Couple that with low interest rates, you know, couple that with a high stock market for now, and you've got a very vibrant, busy real estate environment. What can derail it? You know what? We'll see what happens with inflation. The number one thing we're hooked to is interest rates. So as interest rates adjust, that does affect us. However, I know how much cash is prevalent in the marketplaces, in all the marketplaces. And you know, in markets like as Midwest and back east and California continues to move and evolve in different markets. You know, California moves within California, and so you got markets going into different markets as well as, you know what, to other states. So I don't see anything change in the short run in any way, shape, or form. So I just want to make sure our skill set is the best in the marketplace and the best in the industry so we can best represent our clients. And I truly appreciate everyone's time today. Thanks, everybody.